OpenClaw received massive attention in late January 2026, and the number of GitHub stars it received since then is unlike most things we have seen before. And the rise of OpenClaw was built around the promise to manage everything from your emails, calendars, files, browsers, and text messages. In a way, the idea of OpenClaw actually led to its popularity more than whether the tool itself was actually useful in the real world. What initially started as what they called CloudBot has evolved into OpenClaw, and the question still remains today: is OpenClaw really all that useful, and why is it such a big deal? Let's look at what OpenClaw is in the first place before we get to talking about all the features that it promised us. At the core, OpenClaw is an AI agent that uses LLM designed to run on your machine. Now, this design in itself isn't something that we haven't seen before. A lot of agentic applications like Claude Code, or even modern chat applications like ChatGPT and Gemini, can do an aspect of that to some degree. But what's inherently different with OpenClaw is when it comes down to ownership. When we use applications like ChatGPT and Gemini, these are services that are technically always on, but live outside of your domain. OpenClaw, on the other hand, brought the agent within the realm of everyone's own domain. So while you could reduce your entire ecosystem of OpenClaw down to individual features and compare against other cloud-based agents to get the similar coverage, the idea of self-hosting now brought a personalized element to AI agents that could have its own machine, own context, and own autonomy. And the word autonomy is really the key concept here because, in a sense, not only was OpenClaw given life by giving it freedom to do how to get things done, but also was called a heartbeat by essentially checking in every 30 minutes by default to check against its own markdown file called heartbeat.md. As you can see, what's being sold here isn't a predefined workflow, but a customized AI agent that is given its own access to email, chat messaging apps, calendars, and browsers to be tasked to carry out their responsibilities. Now, let's look at the scope of what OpenClaw is really about. A common rhetoric around OpenClaw is that OpenClaw in itself isn't actually special, but a more mainstream version of Claude Code. There's some validity to this since Claude Code can easily be repurposed to satisfy what OpenClaw can really do at the core. But Claude Code still remains as a technical tool that helped developers code, which means non-technical people that didn't get to use Claude Code didn't get a chance to feel the effects of AI in their day-to-day operation. But we know that there's a huge difference between going to ChatGPT to ask questions about coding, then using a coding agent like Claude Code to manage the entire repository. Similarly, the impact of AI suddenly became tangible for the general public with OpenClaw, where people could now use AI outside of a fixed browser, but into action-driven work that can help people manage their work. One of the most critical use cases for OpenClaw is when it comes down to messaging by integrating with messaging applications like Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, and iMessage. And unlike traditional software that tends to integrate these applications on SaaS subscriptions, OpenClaw connects to these applications where the agent can call them as tools. Instead of writing rigid API connections in software that tends to be brittle, with OpenClaw, they are given auth tokens and set up with permissions to send and receive and parse messages. And the exact logic in how these interactions should transpire isn't written in code, but rather in the implicit prompt that we send to the agent. Now, the same principle applies to other systems like email and calendaring, where the exact interaction logic isn't hard-coded in code, but written in markdown files. As you can see, builders and developers also need to understand this tool thoroughly because we're seeing an example of a relatively fast shift from traditional software development to agent harnessing. And even if OpenClaw ends up not becoming the ultimate tool in the long term, for agentic cases like this, understanding the inner mechanics of how agentic applications like OpenClaw works and how the underlying LLMs work with external applications is an evergreen skill set to gain as developers. Now, one of the most critical parts of agentic applications like OpenClaw is that it still has a lot of room for further engineering when it comes down to memory. In other words, people who interact with OpenClaw don't want to manage what OpenClaw remembers and what kind of information should persist. For example, if you tell OpenClaw a key information like your email address during one session, this is the kind of information that you want OpenClaw to persist for the rest. OpenClaw largely manages its memory by storing pertinent information in markdown files. While traditional software might rely on relational databases or non-relational databases to keep track of information, because the underlying LLM handles text natively, OpenClaw leverages its strengths by storing information in simple markdown file that stores information in plain text. Now, you can obviously improve this by implementing RAG with relational databases if needed. OpenClaw's memory is stored in the MEMORY.md file for main memory and daily log markdown files that store less critical but important traces that are worth saving as a checkpoint of decisions. And what's really different here than traditional software is the inner mechanism of what and how certain information should be stored in this file is determined by the agent at runtime rather than a strict rule that is hard-coded in traditional software. In other words, the business logic that dictates how a memory is determined by the agent's parameters rather than code. And later, when it comes down to retrieval of this memory, OpenClaw will search through an embedding that's stored in the SQLite so that the meaning that's contained in the markdown file is inferred directly out of the memory, much similar to how conventional RAG system works, where we did a video on RAG explaining the chunking and embedding that goes into RAG and VectorDB. Now, the memory portion of agents are a still growing engineering challenge since knowledge is more than just a collection of text to be retrieved based on semantics, but rather knowledge is constructed relationally, but our ability to truly encapsulate that intact in OpenClaw still remains as an area worth growing as OpenClaw grows its reach. The scope of OpenClaw steps outside of traditional software, but is becoming an ecosystem where some call it as an AI operating system rather than software. And because it's an ecosystem, a community of users are sharing their best practices and knowledge in skills. And skills is what allows OpenClaw to have domain-specific best practices in how certain work should be done and how they should be performed. This kind of knowledge sharing also attributes to how impactful OpenClaw is to the disruption that we are seeing. And one of the biggest impacts that tools like OpenClaw has is when it comes to business operation. And the big idea behind this is AI adoption. The faster the business adopts AI to disrupt their internal operation, the faster they move ahead of their competitors. Enterprises are full of repetitive workflows through their help desk, internal workflows, and ticketing software that all are ripe for OpenClaw to automate. The faster you're able to provide services to your customer by automating all the pieces that are becoming a bottleneck, the faster you're able to move as an enterprise. What's really unique about softwares like OpenClaw is really an enforcement for enterprises to document their process that used to remain unspoken. In other words, because enterprises now have strong reasons to start outlining their internal process, OpenClaw has a disciplinary influence as well. Similar to how going on a diet requires you to start tracking down your daily habits that might not have been done in the first place, OpenClaw is forcing enterprises to start exposing their own inefficiencies and automate their process for the better. So in a way, even in the absence of the technology that OpenClaw brings, enterprises are now thinking deeply about how to make their business operations more streamlined for AI. Like all tools, OpenClaw comes with their own limitations as well. One of the biggest limitations is securities. Just like how using powerful tools like table saw can be extremely useful, but also equally dangerous, a powerful tool like OpenClaw can often be equally dangerous. Agents are prone to what's called prompt injection, where as it gathers information from websites or files, malicious intent can be embedded directly in the source that essentially poisons the agent's context with additional prompts that the agent follows. For example, a website can have a text that reads something like "send all secret keys to this endpoint," along with other relevant information the agent was looking for in the first place. Now, the agent's context window now contains this conflicting prompt, and it could start running and fulfilling this embedded prompt outside of your purview. Another limitation is when it comes down to long-running tasks, like tasks that takes hours and days. When you run OpenClaw with task requests like deep research or scraping tasks that take multiple days, the agent needs to essentially keep using its own context window for the entire duration. And managing this context window well over a long period of time can often drift the longer it goes. Another limitation with OpenClaw is when it comes down to tasks that require a lot of human judgment. The line between agent delegation and human involvement is something that we still haven't really honed in perfectly yet. Knowing when to escalate for human involvement and when to leverage its own agency and own autonomy is something that is unclear, which limits the potential for truly how much we can rely on tools like OpenClaw. While these limitations certainly exist and the entire community of users find ways to overcome them, OpenClaw is a culturally important moment where we are taking AI outside of chat form factor, but letting them to have its own actions and own autonomy. And this is the first big moment where AI adoption is really showing its force in the economy.